So we're back with another deck profile for our post-ban list special. 4 deck profiles in 4 days. Expect 2 more. If you want to know what they are, check out the video from yesterday with the branded deck profile that is doing really well. People are still enjoying branded, but we're here to talk about something else that we've been discussing on the channel for a long time now, and it is Runick Bystial. We started talking about this about a month ago, started experimenting, then of course Joshua Schmidt takes the YCS with it, and there has to be some adjustments to be made with things like duality. And now, after hearing a lot of thoughts from Josh himself about the deck and experimenting a little bit myself, there are some new techs that I've been testing out, checking, looking for inspiration from other creators, and putting it all into one list to sort of explain to you what they actually do for the deck. So before we begin, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more amazing content every day of the week. And let's kick this off with Guiding Quem. Unfortunately, there's not really a way to make this super budget. You can not play Starlight, see? You can just not play them. But joking aside, this deck really needs Quem to function well, in my opinion. So for Quem, what this actually does is that this card sends a card that mentions Fallen Valabas from the deck to the graveyard, and you can make use of that because it will then summon that card if a card leaves the extra deck. So the basic combo here, right, is that you would summon the Quem, activate the effect. This is like the main normal summon of the deck. And then if you have another Runick spell, you would summon a Runick monster, right? A card leaves the extra deck and you summon back that card. So those cards are, you're going to see them in a second. They're going to be level 4 tuners, which you can use to climb up to synchros. This is the main power play, starting play, basic play of the deck. So what are we playing other than Quem? We play Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous and the Golden Sword Soul. Now, these two are relatively new techs. Instead of Cartesia, basically. Cartesia, if you're not playing Grand Guignol, and I don't think there really is a reason to play Grand Guignol in this build, then Ecclesia is just far better. It has the same effect of returning to the hand during the end phase, and you can actually special summon this card from the hand if your opponent controls more monsters, right? So that's another added benefit that you don't need to rely on having Fallen Valabas in order to special this. You can just special summon it. If you're going second, this is just better than Cartesia because you can use your normal and your special, which is just a little bit better. So as a tuner, if you're not going to fusion summon, it doesn't really make sense to use Cartesia. Now, the Golden Sword Soul is another card. By the way, this card also mentions Fallen Valabas. This card also mentions Fallen Valabas. It's another level 4 spellcaster tuner. It's a light monster, which is important. It can negate an attack from the hand by special summoning itself. And then, if a monster is banished face up, no matter from where or on whose field, you can banish this card and then special summon from your graveyard a level 4 light spellcaster. So one of these, right? So you basically get to recycle them, maybe get another send from Quem. But another thing you can do is just banish this, either shuffle it back with regain and draw a card, or summon this back later with the spatter. So we're still playing the Bystial Aluber here. This is not really replacing it, but these are just a little bit better than Cartesia overall. Just because they banish, they interact, they can special summon, they give you a free special summon. So yeah, we're gonna need one of these in Starlight, I guess, after we get the other Quems on the way. Don't worry, guys. I know your comments are gonna be like, wait. Bystial lineup is fairly standard, except for like one card. We're playing one Serenir this time because we wanted to accommodate the Golden Sword Soul. Then we're playing one Bystial Magnamut, one Druid's Worm. Don't you tell me that the Prismatics are the right rarity for this, because it's not. The Supers are the OG. And then we're playing one Baldrake, and we're still going to play one Aluber. I did thought about cutting this and keeping the other Bystial Serenir. I think that could still be a play that I'm kind of testing currently. The fact that you can just search to your hand a level 4 tuner could be really helpful sometimes. It's not because of this card's effect or the name in the graveyard. It doesn't really matter. And then for the non-engine, we're just playing 3 Ash because it's generic and good and just powerful. Now, I'm going to run over the Runick engine relatively quick because it's going to be, I believe, 17 Runick cards, 3 tip, 3 Flashing Fire, 3 of the Freezing Curses. And you just really want to open at least one Runick. This is why we need to play more of just like not 15. We need to play a little bit more. So 3 Destruction, 3 of the Slumber, and then 1 Dispelling, 1 Smiting Storm. I don't necessarily like Golden Droplet. I think it kind of feels bad to give your opponent a draw. You can activate it whenever, while Dispelling does require additional setup for your opponent to add a card to their hand, but I still prefer this over Golden Droplet. Then we're playing 2 Runick Fountain, and then we are still playing the Duality. I cut a lot of the targets in the extra deck for this, just because they're not really that useful and we want to play other new techs. Basically, I think the Fabled Unicorn is like, even Josh attested to this. He didn't really summon it, maybe 2 games max. But the shuffle back and draw effect of this card is really good, because you need to recycle your Runick. So shuffling back a Gary and a Hugin is insane. And I decided not to play 2 Regained. Might be an option in the side. I think Branded Beast is exceptionally strong in this upcoming meta. Just removing cards from the field, whether it's against Labyrinth. I mean, this card solos Labyrinth pretty much. So I did experiment with that. Even though Regained is probably the best card in the deck, if they get rid of it, and they will try to as fast as possible, you can just bring it back with Beast. So having both of them gives you sort of like fake protection to Regained. This is the main deck, 40 cards. Let's go over to the extra deck. Some changes here as well. We're still playing the 1 Alvain, the Essence of Vanity. This one is your main Duality target. Again, Duality is not really meant to like really swap up monsters with its effect. It's more of the graveyard effect, but protecting Hugin is extremely important because you don't want this card to get impermed or veilered, right? And then with the Bystial Lubellion, this is a level 2 tuner, so it makes any one of your 10s, which is good. 1 Gary and 1 Sleipnir. Sleipnir is really, really good, puts a lot of pressure on the board. Again, similar to SP, it allows you to banish your opponent's darks and lights and then recycle them with Regained, which is just like the lock of the deck. And now for the level 6s, I decided to add a new Duality target here instead of the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, which we'll talk about. The Scarlight one, of course. So we have Coral and Tri-Edge, and if you are not familiar with the deck, then basically summoning a Quem and then going into a Hugin allows you to go into either one of them, right? And they both draw your card. If you have access to another Runick spell, then you can go into Coral, summon Gary, make a 10 and draw. And if not, or you want to go into a different line, this is not a tuner, so you will just go for this, draw, and then you can keep playing. Now, Malog is actually a Duality target for Bystials, for all of your level 6 Bystials. So it's a light dragon level 6. It is a tuner as well, so again, combining this with Gary grants you a tuner. If you have a Bystial and Gary, now you can turn it into a tuner and go up to a level 10. But also, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So that means your Druid's Worm, for example, with Duality, makes a send and a bounce. So Malong is really, really good in my opinion, especially in the context of Duality. And then we are also playing 10s, of course. Baron, the Fleur, Changying, just really, really good, especially since you don't always have a battle phase. And when you do have a battle phase, you want to get things done. This card is important. Chaos Angel, and of course, Bystial Dispatter. Now, a new addition to the deck that I've been testing out since before YCS Bologna even was this, because I found myself needing a level 12. Sometimes, in a lot of instances, you will have either the Cartesia or Ecclesia on the board, and you will also have a Lubellion, which you want to keep on the board or you want to summon in order to get to Regained, right? And then I was like, yeah, maybe Lulu. It's not really such a good card, Despian Lulu Walleth, but this is just an insane card, and it's generic. So if you don't know what this does, this is the new Centurion from Valiant Smashers, but it's generic. You can make it with any tuner or non-tuner. It protects your monsters with 2,000 or less attack from being destroyed by battle. So first of all, since this deck is like an SP machine, it gets to protect your SP from just like normal Fenrir battle phase or something like that, right? Special Fenrir, of course. But the other thing it does is that it pops the monster with the most attack on the field, and it draws a card. And this card is 3,500 attack, which is huge. So it's got a protection effect. It draws a card, which is something we like to do in this deck. And of course, it pops, right? So going second, it's really, really good. it's got an end phase effect that is only relevant to Centurion. I think this card is really, really good in this deck. Surprises a lot of people too. And then we're playing one Sky Crisis Typhon, and of course SP Little Knight. Honestly, when I started playing this deck about a month ago-ish, I was playing 2 Little Knight, but you know, if you just focus on recycling, because Battle Phase doesn't really do anything against this because you can just shuffle it back with Regained after banishing with a Bystial. Now, 2 other notes. This is the extra deck. 2 other notes. I did cut the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. I don't think it's worth to play in the main. You could definitely side it as a time option. I think it makes sense in a deck like Runick. And of course, Josh played this. I think it's still very valid in the side deck. So it's not going to be in the main deck, but it's definitely a valid target in the side. But I wanted to mention that I wanted to play Melong, I wanted to play Legatia, and this card doesn't really do anything. I mean, it pops stuff. That is true. It pops your field too. But I think it's a fine side card. I mean, I would rather have this, and I would rather actually have Melong as a duality target as well. Let me know what you guys think about this. Hopefully you understood some of the text, the new cards, how to use them. This deck is really hard to do like a full guide or like gameplay review, so join us in the live streams to see me play this. Maybe you can understand it a little bit better. Like the video, subscribe, turn on the bell because more deck profiles coming later this week. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.